Welcome to the Acceptable Accuracy Podcast. I am your co-host, Philip, and today I'm joined by my other co-host, Tyler. Tyler, will you say hello to our beautiful lady and gentleman?
Hello to our beautiful lady and gentlemen.
Yes, because there's probably one lady that listens to this podcast. It's
Your
not,
wife?
no, so I don't know.
My
It's Olivia.
fiance?
It's
Actually,
Olivia.
probably not. No, I don't even think my fiance listens to this. But it's all good though. This is our passion project, and that is perfectly fine. So,
It's
Phil, what are
true.
we talking about today?
We are talking about GUI centers today, Tyler.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness, you and GUI centers today.
in the pre-show, we were talking about how I was going to do the introduction in the end, and then Tyler was going to do the GUI center that was the content for today's podcast. So that got into a whole discussion about Oreos and gushers. But anyway, uh, our topic today is about gear, but in a different light. Tyler, you want to kind of give us the details on what we're going to be going over today?
Yeah, of course. So, like Phil said, we're talking about gear today, and this is a continuation or another part of our head to head series. And today we're talking about gear, whether you're in the minimalist side or you're on the fully geared outside, more in the context of like a multi gun competition or a tactical adventure challenge or a crap hits the fan or just something along those lines. We kind of want to chat about the strengths and limitations and just any trade offs there is, because of course there's not really a right answer to this. I feel like a lot of times the answer is in the middle of the extremes. So because it also kind of depends, because even leading up into this podcast, I was actually reviewing some of my gear mentally and how some things are kind of more geared out but others are more minimalist, and I feel like knowing your setup, Phil, it's kind of the same. So it's just kind of funny how originally going into this, each of us were going to kind of talk about one or the other. I think I was going to be more the gear down, you're going to be more minimalist. But I'm curious to see kind of how this shows up. So the context is not concealed carry, it's more about like the multi gun competitions and all of that. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. So you got anything to
Yeah.
add to that?
No, I appreciate you adding the context to what we're talking about because obviously you can be geared out or minimalist when it comes to everyday carry,
Oh, yeah.
but like in the this context specifically of having like Tyler saying all of the gear to do all of the things, whether
Hmm.
again it's in a large competition that requires you to carry everything with you or SHTF scenario or whatever it is, right? So you're talking about like more than just like your concealed carry pistol, a knife, and a mag,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Hmm. And
So
a
good to
med
call it
kit
out.
and
And
pepper spray and
right.
all
Yeah.
that. Fun fact: I actually had someone recently asking me about my opinions on like those Burna guns. I think Burna, you can
What's
totally
what's a
sponsor us if you
what's a
want.
Burna gun?
A Burna system is basically a pepper spray gun. So like I think it shoots like a pepper spray bomb thing at a person. I think.
Huh.
So some I didn't I always thought you knew what that was, but I believe that's what it is. Watch, I am completely wrong. Let me look it up real quick.
I don't know. I'm not like yes, I have my CPL. Yes, I
Here it
do
is.
every once in a while concealed
Oh my,
carry,
it literally looks like a high point.
but I don't like I'm not up
S-
on the like personal defense stuff. I don't know.
Dude, you are fine. Like I said, it looks like
Thank
a
you.
gun. It kind of reminds me a of a high point shape wise, and it's like 600. It's like four. It's between $400 to $600 from what I'm seeing.
It's like the cost of a good concealed carry pistol.
Yeah, but essentially what it does is it's a less than lethal pistol, and I believe, yeah. So what I'm seeing is it shoots. It uses CO2, and fires. It fires something. I don't know exactly what it fires, but I believe it's some type of pepper spray. But all that to say, that's what the person said. And then they asked me why people don't shoot people in the legs or the arm, and I'm like, look.
Yeah.
I would. Long story short, I said I don't think you realize how hard that is, and
Hmm.
also if you shoot someone in the leg, the amount of arteries that are in there,
Hmm.
they would die too. But I
Hmm.
digress. They're like, oh, I didn't realize that. I'm like, yeah, no, I understand and I get it, but either way. But kind of back to the topic.
Hmm.
So kind of going back with that. So today's kind of we're kind of talking more about our gear, probably more like a rifle setup, our plate carriers, our belts, etc. So Phil,
Yes.
what side do you land on?
So typically I'm on the minimalist side.
I would agree with that.
Um,
Yes.
It'll be interesting at the end of the podcast. I have a point I'm going to make after we had talked about this whole thing
Mm-hmm.
that I have shifted my views a little bit. But we'll get
Mm-hmm.
there. We'll get there. We're going to unpack a little
The
bit here.
irony of it
Yeah.
is, I have two.
Yeah. And that's okay. People
It's just.
people expect you to be one thing or another, and it's okay to change and improve or
Mm-hmm.
not improve. I don't know.
And for me, I lean more towards geared out. Before I kind of give my reasons why, Phil, I would love to hear your reasons, maybe your philosophy of why you chose more on the minimalist side.
I think it kind of goes back to, we've talked about this a few times, and it maybe it's a mental thing, but like I'm already 6 foot 6 ish, and that and I'm not like a huge guy, but I've got not skinny either.
Hmm.
But when you're that tall, you just don't fit into much anyway. And if you're shooting competition, especially one that requires you to have additional gear like a battle belt and a plate
Hmm.
carrier, which we have done many matches like that, and actually have one coming up. I don't know you know about yet, but I'm going to talk you into it. Anyway, it's local, so that's the good news. Um,
Oh, the one that you sent in the group chat?
I think it was Casey. I think that shared it. Maybe
Yeah,
I shared it
what?
to a different group chat. Anyway,
I think I
uh,
know what you're talking about, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So there are plenty of competitions
The
that
one
require
where they
that.
didn't give a date yet?
Yes, that's the one.
Yes, yes, I
Um,
saw that. That does intrigue me, actually.
yeah, they do a good job anyway. Anyway, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Barry County sponsor us. Okay. Anyway, so going back to the topic on hand, being that I do have all that height, it's already hard getting in and out of vehicles and in like
Hmm.
throughout obstacles and whatnot. So having stuff that's a little bit closer to me, and not having like those layers that you have, especially on body armor that stick out, um, tends to kind of suit my needs and ability to move in and out of stages. And I like having a little bit like less items to again get hung up, get in the way. I don't feel the need to carry like things I won't use in the match. It just feels
Hmm.
like a waste. And maybe it's like me gaming it or whatever, but it just feels like a waste of like efficiency. So I guess that's
Hmm.
probably really what we're looking at here from my perspective is I like being efficient. I may not be overly efficient with my movement, though I'm getting better.
Hmm.
But in gear wise, it's good to be efficient. That's my
Hmm.
personal opinion. So I'm going to wrap it up in that, and then I'm going to throw it back at you, and then kind of ask like when we first started looking at doing the Wolverine 5K, which was the first match that required a lot of this gear. I remember the first time you showed up, and I was like, dude, you are now wider than you are tall with all the equipment that you had.
I'm also a short king, so come on, that's not very hard to do.
Well, I mean, yes. You also had like you're a little more built than most people.
And I
So
appreciate that. And
yeah,
that's also why I think for me, because this was my very first like match of that caliber, something that required gear. So I didn't really know what to expect. So I was like, I'm just gonna have everything. And a part of it too is I needed to reach the weight minimum as well. So that was another reason why giving some context for that match, why I had so much stuff on me, because I just wanted to make sure I hit that minimum. Because that year we were doing recreational, but I chose not to use a pack, I believe, and I wanted to put all my weight in my plate carrier. I believe that's what I did that year.
yeah, that is correct. We were
So
rec, and then the actual like orienteering part of the course or the day does require you to have 25 pounds even if you're rec, and that's
correct,
easy
yes.
to do when you have a backpack. Less easy to do when you're trying to do it spread out via a plate carrier,
Yep.
unless you're carrying like AR 500 plates, which neither of us were.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, no. Yeah. But even then, that's kind of what I did with that one, and plus the water on top of it. I think I had two hydration packs for that one. I had a water one, and I had like a coconut water as well, or electrolyte drink or something along those lines. So this way, and I obviously, because I don't know how much liquid I'll have by the end of the ruck. Now that's more weight on top of that's probably I had probably like another 10 pounds of just liquids on top of me. So to make sure I hit the
Yeah.
weight. So I
Stay
probably 30
hydrated.
pounds, but I probably like 40 pounds on me at the beginning of the ruck and probably about 30 by the end of it, give or take. So 30, 35. But either way. So, but my idea behind it once again was I just didn't really know what to expect. And really the idea of just being ready for the unknown and for longer events. And with me, especially at that time, I was younger and in better shape. I'd still say I'm in pretty good shape right now, but even back then I was in amazing shape that I was just like, you know what? I want to make sure I was ready for the unknown. I had everything that I need and I wouldn't have to worry about it. Make sure I have extra batteries, extra supplies, extra snacks in case anything ever happens, especially in an emergency situation. So that's kind of that was my philosophy at the time.
Again, like we talked about at the top of the episode, it's not necessarily wrong, right? I
Hmm.
mean, if you can work within that those parameters that you've created one way or another, again, there are benefits or trade-offs, and we'll kind of get into those as
Oh,
we
100%.
dig
Yeah.
into everything. So,
And I
um,
think and I
go
think
ahead.
that's where once again it's really what you prioritize and what's important to you. And for you, and that makes a lot of sense, especially with you being your height, your stature, to where like you really want to prioritize just already the side of movement, like having too much weight on you, too much gear makes you even more immobile. Of like, well, you want to be able to move, you want to be able to. That was what you prioritize. For me, I want to prioritize just, I guess, preparedness. The only problem is I think I took it a little too far, especially early on. But that just came more as with more experience, kind of more. I've kind of stripped it down a little bit.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too, as we kind of start digging into some of our setups here, it goes back to everybody has a different body type and they have a different level of comfort that they enjoy.
Hmm.
So as we kind of dive into plate carrier setups, and we won't necessarily go into like odd like specifics because we've done so on previous
Oh
podcasts.
yeah, I think the
Yeah,
world, and if anyone listens, they know our setups because honestly,
right.
we haven't really changed much of it. Even to this day, I haven't
No,
really changed my
yeah,
carrier setup very much.
no, and I'm actually gonna make steps backward. Well, not really backwards, but I'm gonna make steps closer to what I had when I first started out.
Really? Okay,
Yeah, I had a Slickster from Feral Concepts, and
I
they
remember.
those are really minimal. They don't have a ton of padding in them. They're basically like a set of front and back bags where you put your
Hmm.
armor into, and then you can put like a front placard on it. And then there's the newer models have Molly weave that you can use in the back, but
Oh, nice. Hmm.
I had a WTF Concepts like it was like a bikini style, like went over the plate carrier itself that allowed for hydration in the back, and that was
Hmm.
it. And I just used the like stretchy cover bun on the sides, which really is very low visibility. Shoulder straps, and put some pads on those just to help with like the weight a bit of the plates,
Hmm.
but that's really all I ran, and obviously a hydration in the backpack as well. So it makes you not overly thick. And then I also find, and I don't know, and I'll be curious your thoughts on this, but with that setup, I never really feel constricted. Some people, when they wear plates, don't like it because they feel like they're like getting pressure pushed in on them. And again,
Hmm.
I don't know if it's just because of like my body setup or whatever, or that specific setup. I really don't I, from a long day, maybe I start noticing the weight, but with a set of ceramic plates, really, it's not awful.
Hmm. I personally, because for me, like I have a HRT carrier with a just with a placard, of course, in the front, and I have. Well, I'm trying to remember the setup. It's like two. It's That's what it was. It's three. It has room for three rifle mags, but I do two rifle mags and then my radio, and then it has two administrative pouches in front of it, and then two pistol mags on the side. So that's what I have for that, and then of course just a pack in the back just for hydration. So that's real. And then I have a tourniquet that dangles as well. So that's kind of my setup. The only I don't really have any issues personally. I do know that I did upgrade the cummerbund because the one that it came with was just a simple strap, and that's a very minimalist approach. I hated it. So now I have like a quick release
Mm.
cummerbund that also HRT has as well, and I just find it to be significantly more comfortable and more secure. So I don't know. There, I will admit there because that cummerbund does make me feel like I'm in like what are those things called? Not a girl, but that thing that women way back when would use to kind of like
No,
make
I think like a girdle, I think is correct.
girdle or yeah. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what I was like. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, look at me go. So nice and skinny in that thing.
Yeah, I think for me, having the elastic cover bun is probably what helps with like because people feel like that again that pressure of the plates on each side of
Uh
them,
huh. Yep.
and with the elastic, I just feel like you have the ability
Just
to
feels
breathe a little
amazing,
bit.
man.
It
Yeah.
does feel
Same.
amazing, yeah. And there
As,
are other solutions too. Like you can get more of a rigid on the side, but then there's like a on the back part that connects the rear plate. There's like an
mhm.
elastic connection, so that it moves there instead of the whole thing moving.
Yeah. My only issue with my current setup is whenever I go prone.
Mm.
That's my only issue,
Mm-hmm.
especially back when I was using an LPVO. Now that because my gun, unless I have like a 40 round mag, then I have to lift it off the ground instead of being able to brace it on the ground. That's the that's the only time I really have any issues with it. Other than that, I personally don't have any issues. So that could also mean where maybe I can have a little less stuff in those administrative pouches. But even then, I will admit one of them was snacks. But I think I have like a multi tool in there. I think one of them is a med pouch. Actually, yes, my right one's a all like more like it's an IFAC, so stop the bleed stuff. So this way, if I have any issues, I'm fine. Which ironically enough, my belt also has an IFAC on it, so now it's kind of becoming redundant to where it's not necessarily needed. So that's I will admit that's where I can definitely see myself kind of maybe getting rid of it, or just maybe at least getting rid of the double medical and maybe having less stuff in those pouches so I can get prone a little more comfortably.
Yeah, I actually ended up with my plate carrier setup. Actually, a lot of people go like out, right? Because they'll stack like pouches on top of each
Uh
other, kind of like
huh.
what you have set up. But because of my height, even though my torso maybe is a little bit, I'm quite tall, but it's more it. Tyler and I have very close torsos,
It's
lengthwise.
hilarious to me the amount of people who are
Yeah,
taller than me, and I have very similar torso lengths. It's just I have short legs.
yeah,
So, like, I was actually sitting with a buddy of mine recently. He's 6 foot tall. I'm 5'8", to give context. We're sitting next to each other. And we're looking eye to eye. I'm like, holy cow! I just have short legs.
yeah. I mean, I do have a little bit longer torso. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mhm.
I started going
But you're
down.
also like
Yeah.
7 feet. So,
That's true. So I started going like down on my equipment. So I actually have like a dangler in the front because I
hmm,
needed somewhere to put stuff, right? Like whether it's
for
a
sure.
match, you had to have like a pen, pencil. Like Wolverine 5K required like translation between like tap code and
Hmm.
like hand signals and that kind of stuff. You had to convert it, so I had a little converter sheet for that.
Yep.
Compass, whatever. So I needed something in front. So I went down, hung it below where like the placard is below where the plates are. And then the back for medical, I got one of the Ferro Concepts roll ones. That's like
Hmm.
basically a rolled up medical kit in the back you can pull out on either side. And that actually really helps. And then it helps with the balance a little bit as well too. I tend to find that when I put the mags in the front, if they're full, they tend to pull the plate carrier forward a bit. Medical helps offset that a bit because it's in the back, hanging off the back, plus water in the back there as well too. So, um, but still pretty basic.
It is. I
Yeah,
would definitely still say if you compare like our carrier setups, you definitely have more of a minimalist, more I mean it's literally called a slickster versus mine is an HRT, which is what's it called again? What is HRT? I know there's like HRT because that's an actual like acronym for something.
I don't know. Maybe we can make something up.
It's an abbreviation. I mean it's definitely not hormone replacement therapy.
No, it's not. I always thought there was like an FBI HRT team, wasn't there?
Oh, here it is. So HRT typically stands for Hostage Rescue Team.
Yeah, that's close.
So it's just hilarious. So once again, like it makes sense. You have the Slickster, which is more slick minimalist, versus like HRT was more like the hostage rescue team, kind of just more. They'd probably be more geared up for that context. But either way, it doesn't really matter. But so that's kind of like our carrier setup. So I'm curious, kind of moving on. I think this is where I'm curious to see with our rifle setup.
Well, real quick, I just want to touch on something that you mentioned
Go for it.
earlier, where you have
Hmm.
issues shooting prone with your plate carrier setup. I don't with mine just because it is so flush like to my body.
Hmm.
I don't. I'm trying to think if I have any other like random issues because of the stuff that I have. I guess sometimes I have a hard time seeing the little dangler pack, but I can lift it up and look at what the contents of it. But
Hmm.
no real major issues with that specific setup anyway. So plus one to minimalist maybe. Other than sometimes I find that there's stuff that I don't have that I wish I did. Um,
Hmm.
like at Zombie, even though we weren't wearing plate carriers, I swore that I put like like a lens cloth or whatever, eyeglasses cloth. I know where it went. I have no idea. And again, if I had like a more universal
Just
set
like
of
your ammo box,
stuff,
right?
yeah, yeah. Then I would be able to get to it and remember where it was at, or if I had a redundant unit. But I kept having to ask Brent for his. It's
That's
kind of funny.
so
Yeah.
funny. But at the same time, too, you also got to understand like a lot of times in the context is you're with other people. So sometimes it's more this person has an emphasis on this or they're holding this. And that's where you have like that team aspect of it, too.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So on to rifles, Tyler. This is an interesting one. At first, I was thinking about this. I was like, actually, I think my rifle may have more gadgets and junk on it than yours
it's
does. But then I
neither of what,
remembered that
yeah.
you're wrong-handed, so that actually ends up you don't have to run it that way, but you do. So yeah, you want to talk about that?
I mean, for me, my rifle setup, and a part of it too is because I just haven't invested the financial side as well into it because I just have for 99% of the time it's my 11.5 inch AR pistol, just a palmetto state that the internals I have, like Phil said, I have made some changes to. I have like a bad lever by Magpul, so this way I'm able to release the bolt with my left hand, or rather my right hand, my right thumb. And then I also have like an ambi safety, and of course a ambi charging hand. Wow,
Yeah, I think you have the
charging hand,
same
right?
one. The same one
I
I
think
do.
so.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But other than that, I have a red dot magnifier on it, and that's it.
Do you have a angled foregrip, I think, as well too. Am I
Yes, I'm
correct on
sorry,
that?
I do.
Yep.
I know. I have an angled foregrip that is
Um.
legal.
Yep. Oh yeah.
ATF, FBI, any of you guys listening, it is not a vertical grip. It's an angled foregrip. I want to specify that
You put
because NFA is dumb.
yeah. Do you put any like grip covers on your rifle at all, or do you just go bare
Nope,
metal?
just bare
Interesting.
metal.
Huh.
Bare metal. For me, I think I just really enjoy having a light rifle, something that I'm able to maneuver quickly in. I would like to eventually get a light on there. That is something I would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And but I don't really need the grip covers personally. Even when it gets really hot, once again, I also have the vertical foregrip if I really need to kind of help minimize, I guess, kind of protect my hands from that. Of course, worst case, I'll just put gloves on. But it's extremely rare for me to get that rifle so hot to where I can't hold that rail. So that's my setup. Ironically enough, my rifle's probably more on the minimalist side.
Probably. I think I have. I don't have to deal with the ambi problem.
Hmm.
So,
But you have ambi aspects except for the bad lever.
well, not really actually. So,
Do you not have a ambi
I
safety?
I don't.
Oh, that's right. But you
And again,
have
that
well, we have the same charging handle, but that's really the only difference though.
yeah. Well, I don't have the ambi
Yeah, you don't have the bad lever
safety.
for the
I don't have the bad lever because I'm right-handed,
Yep.
correct-handed.
Yep.
And but again, for me, like Minimalist takes on a bit of a different like concept here where I have an SPR. I run the SPR. I like having
Hmm.
stock. I have long arms. So having the actual stock, the additional like length of pole really helps as a result. But pretty basic like furniture, like an over molded grip just because of the big hands. And um, but like my lower is super basic, like just standard safety, with like thumb activated with my right hand. Um, I don't have like there's no bad lever. And it's just an arrow precision lower. It's not like it has a mag. It's a little bit of a flared mag well, but it just came that way, so
Hmm.
I got it. But then my upper is where things get a little bit more complex and maybe a little bit less
Oh,
minimalist.
really? Hmm.
Well, yeah. So I have the red dot magnifier combo,
Yep. Hmm.
which is fairly common. I guess the only way to get more simplistic with that would be to put on a LPVO, but I still feel like you still have the complexity there of having to dial, you know, whereas we just flip side to side. So ambi charging handle, because I do have a piston driven upper, I do have some handguard like from additions from Magpul on the end just to help with the heat a little bit. I haven't really had an issue, but I also have had that way since I started, and those just M-lock right into the handguard and help out. But because I do shoot suppressed, I did swap like muzzle brake for like a muzzle device you can thread suppressor on, which I guess you put the suppressor on, that's more devices. And then most recently, because I started shooting at night, I have IR laser and daylight laser plus IR um, illuminator in the form of a Holosun Iris, which is brand new as of like a month ago.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. So that's it's a little more decked out, and then it does add weight. It's already heavy anyway because it's a piston upper. Um,
Hmm.
but again, there's no, and I guess I do have a vertical. Actually, mine's an angled foregrip too, even though it doesn't matter because I have an SPR.
Yeah.
But I like having that because I can just use it to prop up against stuff. But and then I'll swap a bipod on if it's needed. So in that regard, it may be a little more complex than yours, close with the bad lever and the ambi safety. But I also feel like there's nothing else like excessive on there. I'm not putting like charms on it or something like they do in Call of Duty.
No. Yeah. Of course not. But I would
Um,
definitely say yours is more geared out than mine for sure.
yeah, definitely the upper for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I guess tech in the lower in the sense mine would be more, but it's really the two. I mean, an updated trigger, I guess, but it's a trigger.
Yeah, I guess I have one of those too. I've got both of them.
Exactly. So,
Um, what's
but I
interesting
don't
though is with the rifle, and this will get into a debate that rages forever. It depends on your context too. Is
know.
that
Hmm.
if you have a LPVO on there or a red dot, that is your aiming system, and then there are people out there who are like, well, you need a backup. So typically, your
Oh
backups
yeah.
either be an offset sight, which I don't have, I don't run, so that's
No
or having
backup irons.
backup irons, which I also don't have.
I don't
However,
either.
because of the laser, now technically I do have a backup
That's
sighting
fair.
system.
But no,
Yeah,
I'm good.
sweet.
And then I guess even I don't even really. I guess even on the pistol side, you and I pretty much have the same
It's true.
setups in the context of it's a pistol with the dot and
Yeah,
a light.
and neither of us swap trigger out on it.
No, it's all
I don't
stock.
I don't put additional, like I don't change my grips out other than the ones that like come with the gun.
Hmm.
I don't
I
put like skate tape on it or anything weird.
That's fair. I used to for my shield, even my shield plus, I did use or Talon grips, and then I did like that just because I didn't care for the original MMP shield grip, and even with the MMP shield plus, I like to put some grips like skateboard tape on like some parts of the grip where there was just no grip at all, so kind of help with my support hand. But even then, like other than that, like I like to just keep my pistol stock, other than adding a dot and a light.
Yeah. And the light. really is not necessarily required for most competitions,
No.
though there are some that we shoot that there's always in the years previous, like Zombie, for example, they've gone into the dark. So I
Hmm.
always have that fear of not having it there. Um, it adds weight, I guess, which I
Exactly.
like.
Well, it just helps with the recoil management. Not much, but
Yeah.
it's in a sense kind of like a compensator in a sense.
Yep.
But
And
even
and
then,
I
not really much.
yeah, and I find that it like holsters better too when you have the light on there. It's
Oh, for
personal
sure.
opinion.
Yeah.
So
Hmm. No, I agree with that. I think it's just easier to holster. But once again, it doesn't really matter. I mean, of course, when I do a USPSA, I do not have a light just because I don't have a holster for it.
see, I do.
And
Yeah,
but I find that I'm able to draw quicker without it.
that's
But
legit. I would agree with
by
that.
not by
Yeah,
much, but I
yeah,
definitely notice a slight difference, but not enough to where it's not like a second or two faster. It's like a millisecond. I just notice it enough. It's like, oh yeah, cool, but not the end of the world. But
and I think with a pistol, if you're gonna get like it's again, you could you could go to like hog wild on a pistol too. People think that well, there's not much customization with a pistol, and there really actually is, especially with competition because
oh yeah,
you could put a gas pedal on there.
yep.
Again, you could change the internals, change your recoil
Hmm.
spring. I haven't done any of
Get
that.
it stippled. Of course, getting it milled depending on what gun
Yep.
you have. Then you could. There's so many. They're getting what was those lightning cuts? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. I mean, mine is technically comes from factory like that. So
Same. I mean,
yeah,
mine's the Shadow Systems, and yours is the MMP competition. So in a sense, it I guess our pistols are more on the tricked out if you're comparing to like a stock like Gen
yeah.
3 Glock, right?
Sure. But
So
they both came the way that they are from the
yes,
factory. Yeah.
but we both knew that's what we wanted.
Right.
So I guess in a way, our pistols are more quote unquote tricked out or geared out, technically speaking. If you're compared to like a minimalist Gen 3 Glock or like a Gen 1 M&P, right?
Yeah.
So
What's interesting now is the
yeah,
Gen 6, right? Yeah, the Glock has like a gas pedal now,
I know. I
which
forgot. I
is
think I read somewhere where it
yeah,
said Glock made a clone of a Glock clone.
yeah, pretty much.
that
Yeah.
does Glock sponsor us. I'm fine with that too.
Or Smith and Wesson because they came out with a new
Yep.
metal HD, that
That's
competitor that I have to
right.
buy.
Yeah.
I already warned my wife. I said, "Look, I said there's a pistol purchase in my future." And she said, "Well, thanks for letting me know.
That's awesome.
Sell the house first." So,
That's so funny.
yeah.
But all right. So what's next, Phil? Well, of course, we
Mhm.
went over our plate
Yeah.
carriers. We went over our rifles.
Yep.
We went over our pistols. We're going to ignore shotgun because no one cares about shotgun. No
Sure.
offense, people. So what's next, Philip?
Boots. No, just kidding.
Oh my goodness.
Our belt setup.
Hmm. So I would, I don't know. I'm curious because, like, I know for me, at least when we're comparing zombie belt setup, I feel like
Mhm.
you have more stuff, but a part of it is because
Mm,
you're also getting ready for shotgun day on top of it. Because you
yeah.
and I both run an inner outer system. I actually
Yep.
love your core belt setup. If I didn't have what I have now, I would probably get a core battle belt as well, or duty belt, or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
since I have a blue alpha belt inner outer system. Of course, I have a my Safariland holster with a tourniquet on top of it, which I'm glad I did because it cleared up more space on my belt. And also, too, in theory, if I have a tourniquet out, my gun should be holstered anyway. So, and of course, I have a knife. I have my medical bag. I have my IFAK. I have a minimalist dump pouch, two pistol mags, a rifle mag, and gloves. That's my whole belt setup.
Do you only have one rifle mag?
Yeah, I only have one rifle mag.
Huh.
So I
Well,
feel like
yeah.
my belt setup is more on the minimalist side.
Well, maybe like
In the context of a multi gun tactical
mm,
adventure challenge.
you also have a leg strap on your holster.
That's fair. That is
I do
true. I do
not.
have a leg strap.
I do not have that.
That's fair. I'm not saying compared to yours. I'm just saying
Oh, I yeah yeah. I
in
see.
the
I see.
grand
Sure.
scheme
Okay.
of that. I
Yeah.
feel like yours and I are pretty close to each other, but I feel like in the grand scheme of it, leans more towards minimalist. I feel like it's actually in the grand scheme of things, a lot of ours is probably more minimalist because we've seen some geared out, decked out dudes, and we're like, that is so unnecessary.
Yeah, again, this comes back to the whole movement concept. It's one thing to have a thick plate carrier. It's even worse to actually go like out on your sides versus like out front to back because
Oh, 100%.
it's
Yeah.
harder to fit through things, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Dude, sitting in a car with that holster, man, it's
yeah,
a pain.
that's
Even
true.
with even with my IFAC in the back, it's a pain. Now, the irony of it all is when I have a plate carrier on, I have no issue sitting in a car because it's all flat now with the carrier and all my stuff in the back.
That's
Which is
funny.
also why I think it was a video I saw years ago with John Lovell and Tony Setmanat, and how, of course, Tony is a Marine, but he's a police officer, and how his gear changed significantly because in the military, you have tons of stuff in the back of your belt because you're wearing a plate carrier all day too, so it all flattens out. Whereas as a police officer, you have more of a like thin pistol graded, like what's it like vest. So this, and you're in your police car all the time. So
Right.
because of that, you have nothing in the back of your belt. So I just thought something like that was just very interesting. Once again, going back to context.
Yeah, and the interesting thing with that is that the police officers tend to be wider out on the sides because they have a pistol on
Yes.
one side and then they have their stun
Oh,
gun
their
typically on the
taser,
other,
yeah.
plus
Baton,
handcuffs,
handcuffs, yeah.
magazines,
Probably pepper. I
pepper
don't know if
spray
they carried
probably.
peppers. Yeah,
Yeah, it depends on the department.
I mean tons of pistol mags
Baton
as needed.
maybe.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
a
I was
lot.
thinking too.
There's a lot. Flashlight, don't forget that.
That's right. Yeah,
Yep.
but nothing in the back.
Um, yeah, so easier to sit in the car. I very similar setup to you. I have more mag pouches,
Hmm.
both rifle and pistol. I actually added a vertical, sorry,
Horizontal.
horizontal rear
I know. I
mag
remember.
pouch in the back, which I actually really like. It's nice when you're prone and you have to reload. It's really easy to just grab it from behind you instead of trying to grab off your plate carrier or from your side. Side's not too bad. But I have I have a rifle mag on the side, and I have four pistol mags on my belt because I don't carry pistol mags on my chest rig
That makes
or
sense.
plate carrier. If I run when I ran the Badger Trekker, I had pistol mags, but they were like backup mags for pistol in the front of my chest rig, which worked fine. It was fine. It was not a big deal. Yeah, drop holster for pistol. Don't have leg strap. My legs are too long. Something the way that this sets up just causes me to have a wedgie. Um, but same thing as you with um like the tourniquet in the front, right in front of the mag. Actually, I think I got the idea from you.
Yeah, you did. I got it. I
Yeah,
saw it a while ago. I got it because I think I saw it either as Mojo or just some other police officer. And I was like, I feel like that's a good idea because I used to have my tourniquet in the front at my 1 o'clock. I had it horizontal. It was okay. It was fine. It worked, but I just wanted to free up more space on my belt. And I just thought to myself, why don't I just? I saw, I was like, that's a great idea. So then I added to my gun holster, and I did it for the Zombie Invitational. And you're like, that's a great idea.
it is a
And
good
the
idea.
irony is, the attachment I got for my Safari Land was for a right-handed holster. So I think I gave that to you instead of returning it. So then I just bought a left-handed one. So it all worked out because it was like right after. It was right before the zombie. I think it was like a few days. I think you installed it on the way to zombie.
Possibly, I don't remember,
It
but
doesn't matter. That
if
was
you did,
years
thanks.
ago. Yeah, totally.
Um, yeah, no, that setup works pretty well. And then I have the gloves hanging out the front, just like Tyler. And actually, I
Yep.
swapped out to make it even more flush. I got these like little clips that go through the molly, and they like sit on the top of the molly and then go through the bottom of the clip. And the clip is
Yeah,
heavier duty, and it
yeah, I
just sits
know.
really nicely flush.
Yeah, you sent me the link because I saw that too. I was like,
Yeah,
holy cow.
yeah,
Because mine was like a Velcro strap, and then which I gave you as well in the past. And you're like, hey, why don't you try this? I was like, that's a great idea. Because I think what I bought was like a 5 pack or whatever. So I was like, take it. And then when you said that to me, I was like, dude, this is sweet.
yeah. No, pretty basic, pretty straightforward. I think that just comes from competition. I don't have any med stuff on that. I keep it all on my
On your plate carrier.
my plate carrier. And then if I for zombie, it's in the backpack typically. Just to actually add like bulk to the weight and stuff that's in there. So yeah, pretty basic thing for both of us there. I mean, obviously there's a ton of things that you could add in there. You know, people like love to go crazy with medical or just fill up the amount of like fill the whole thing with pouches. I guess I do have a shotgun magazine because I shoot mag fed is on the side. I used to take it on and off, and I just got I was like whatever left it there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I get that. And I think that's where, too, the question is, should a belt be built for speed or for insurance?
what do you
That's
mean
really the
insurance?
question. I think insurance, like, just in case, like, have
Mm-hmm.
as much stuff as you can so you're ready for it. I guess for preparedness. Should it be both for speed or preparedness, I guess, would be a better way to put it.
I would say speed. I think your plate carrier from a preparedness methodology or even just a chest rig is probably going to be better because
I agree
again, if
with
I had to
that.
pick between one or the other, I'm gonna have my rifle with me. I don't necessarily need my pistol, and if I do, it's possible I'm just concealed carrying it anyway. Um, but again, you want your rifle primarily. I assume I've never been in a situation that's required it, other than for matches. And then again, just the ability not to have stuff on your hips, to be able to
Hmm.
fit in and out of things easier, sit in cars easier, that kind of stuff.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's
Yeah.
why too, like looking at my personal, but I think that's why my carrier setup is a little more geared out is because I want to keep my belt more quote unquote minimalist. Still, obviously, there's still stuff on it, but I'd rather carry my mags on my chest. I'd rather, well, I guess now I have medical on my belt and on my chest rig or my carrier. So I think that's something I might rethink, trying to figure out which route do I want to go. Do I want to do medical on my chest? Or I guess on my plate carrier, do I want to keep it on there? I don't know yet. I have to figure that part out. I'm not a big fan of my minimalist, my blue alpha. I believe it's a no, it's a blue force gear dump pouch. It's a little
Mm,
too minimalist because it's just so thin. It's like this nylon thing, and it just
yeah.
dangles everywhere. I'd like something a little more maybe robust and rigid, so this way I don't feel like whatever's in there's just smacking my leg all the time.
That's legit. I've got one that's kind of a net in between.
Hmm.
It's like, and it's actually cut to fit underneath a kiwi.
Oh, nice.
Like so it takes up less real estate, and
That
then
is
and
really
I
nice.
actually like it. If I had to do it over again, I would have bought the slightly larger version. I say that, but then I also the whole concept of having it not slap against my leg because it does
Hmm.
sit a little higher. It's not hanging down low is kind of nice, and I haven't had a problem with it. So they clearly thought it out and it's been fine.
Yeah.
I just cinched the top up a little bit. My fear with it is stuff's gonna pop out, especially like rifle mags, because they feel like they're just to the top of like the dump pouch itself. But
Hmm.
again, dump pouch is not something you necessarily think about from a preparedness perspective. Though honestly, I would recommend everybody get one anyway because it's nice to have to just put random stuff in that you need quick access to, whether it's like water, ear
Skittles.
protection, Skittles, like whatever it may be, the snacks, other kind of snacks you want to put in there. It's easy to in and out stuff in and out of that, without having to put it in your pockets and lose it. So yeah.
No, I agree with that. So I guess my question for you is, do you have a piece of gear looking at both of our setups?
Mhm.
Would there be something that you would borrow from my setup and vice versa?
That's a good question.
For me, I mean, I will admit, like, I think the dump pouch is definitely one.
Hmm.
I would, I can definitely see, like, on the rifle side, the laser. So that'd be really nice to have eventually, but that'd be more getting ready for nods or even just like some type of light. So or a backup system. I think that's why, because I think your I'm trying to remember. Does your laser also have a light on it, or is it just an IR light?
The new one that I have is the Iris. It's the original OG Iris, which is the Iris 3 now, I think what they're
Got
calling
it.
it. There's an Iris 4 that has a light. I had an SMS laser for a while. It was fine. It was not waterproof, so that's why, or water
Mm,
resistant. That's why I
that makes
switched off
sense.
of it. And that one had a light on it. It was actually a really good light too, to be honest.
I remember. I feel like that was a pretty good light.
Yeah, the Iris 4 has a light on it, like a visible light, but I don't like the setup on it. And it is quite a bit bigger than the Iris 3. I have lights I could put on, and maybe I'll invest in like a side light that I would need to put on. And in the event the
Mm-hmm.
world comes to an end, but in that case, I probably wouldn't be using a lot of white light anyway. It'd be mostly IR light.
Oh, for
And
sure.
so, yeah. Let's see. I'm still trying to think of like what you have. Like probably something to do with like more medical related stuff, because right now I'm kind of restricted to the rear of my plate carrier or the front of my holster for a tourniquet if I need it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't found a great way to carry additional medical on my belt for a match, which again, because I don't always use the plate carrier every match, whereas I do definitely use the belt, right? And it's always a tourniquet. I think is probably if you're gonna have anything, probably the most important, right? But
I
it'd be nice
mean,
to
you
have
already
like
have it.
some.
You already have a tourniquet, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I have it. It's there, and but I would like to have some like chest seals would be nice because
Oh, I see what you're
that's
saying.
the
Yeah,
other
like
thing too,
additional medical. Got it. Mm-hmm.
right? And I just haven't found a great way.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all
I,
good. It's a very barky dog. I heard your dog running around earlier, and I was like, oh, that's cute. Your dog's home.
yeah. Yeah, I got
So
Darcy right now.
the
I actually took off his
Mr.
collar because
Darcy.
he was, yeah, because he was dangling. It's like it's night. He just needs his collar right now.
Oh,
So I
everybody
took
loves
that off. I
dogs.
don't know
Yeah.
why he barked, but either way. But
Okay.
a lot to say. Yeah, I think the funny thing is, I'm trying to figure. Same with on the medical side. I like having medical in my belt, but after the last zombie invitational, wearing a
Yeah.
backpack with it, I my IFAC fell out twice. And
Yeah. Not
Andrew,
good.
I believe Andrew has the exact same one as the Blue
Yep.
Force gear. His fell out once as well. And that's where I think I want to kind of figure. I do know Daryl has a Warrior Poe one, which is a similar concept, but I think there's like it can only be pulled out one way. So that might be worth looking at. I might look into that a little bit, or just some other type. I like having medical on my belt as well, because same like you said, I won't always have my play carrier with me, but I'm probably gonna have my belt with me in like a multi gun or
Right.
adventure challenge event. And because even if I do like a chest rig, I don't have medical in that either.
Yeah,
So,
and that same. So again, I have my backpack for zombie,
hmm,
but for like Badger, I don't. Other than the tourniquet, there's no medical on me. Hmm. Again, I don't, and then that's goes back to the whole minimalist concept either too with Badger, whereas like that's a biathlon you're running, and I want to keep the minimum stuff from jiggling, bouncing, hitting, adding additional weight that I don't need. And yes, I would love to have more medical on that, and probably should. I honestly, that match is so well run. I know they have medical around all over the
oh,
place,
for
so I'm
sure,
not so
yeah.
worried about it. And obviously, in the case of an SHTF, I would find a way to keep my medical on me, even if I wasn't wearing a plate carrier. Probably be on some low profile bag, similar to what we wear for zombie. Which is ironic because it's a whole SHTF like zombie like
Hmm.
invasion match kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Is there a piece of gear that you were thinking about maybe removing from your own setup?
Uh, well, okay. So, like I talked about the top of the episode when we started talking about plate carriers. I switched to a FCPC from Faro Concepts. I like it, but I feel like I remove some of the low profileness, and it's still pretty low profile, but I feel like it sticks out a little bit, and it doesn't have like it almost has like the plate carrier itself, especially the front, it almost has like what I would refer to as like rounded edges. It
Hmm.
doesn't sit as flush as the Slickster does. So I am actually tempted to go back to the Slickster because of how close it just sits to your body, because the
Mm-hmm.
shoulder straps are flush to your body again versus the way that the FCPC is set where they kind of stick out a little bit. So there's a good chance I'll be actually going back to that the next time I throw in a plate carrier.
That's awesome. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that would be the only thing I think I would change though. Everything else, it's funny. It's like gun guys, car guys, any kind of hobby that has some kind of like gear, lots of gear associated with it. Like, even people that play sports, golf, they're constantly upgrading the stuff that you
Oh, for
have, and you
sure. Yeah.
have this like necessity, and like maybe it's the guy thing. You have this like innate desire to constantly be upgrading your gear to something new. But I'm at a pretty good level right now. Like, I know I talked about getting a new pistol earlier, just because I'm like, oh, like I feel like I have to have the latest and greatest from Smith and Wesson, and I don't know
But
why, because
it's
I don't do that with it. I don't do that with anything else.
but it's also
So
like an up it's just, but essentially it's a gun upgrade of what you already have. It's still the
sure,
same operating system.
yeah,
It's the same like fundamentally, it's the same pistol. It
yeah,
uses the same mags, same
yeah,
holster,
yeah,
but of course they've made upgrades to it, but you can still use everything you already have
right,
for it. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like
yeah.
it's people who move from like once again like a Gen 5 to Gen 6 clock now, etc. It's just the newest version. It's like getting a new iPhone, I guess.
I guess, but still, it's like, I am I really gaining anything? The only thing I can. This is not a pistol, like preference episode at all, but like I feel like the only thing I'm be gaining there is maybe a better trigger, and I would honestly probably want to like hold one first and see what the trigger feels like, because
Oh yeah.
the original competitor trigger, there is no break on it. Like, you
Yeah.
can't feel it. It's just
Which
all mush.
is hilarious because I think that was like the first gun after the Shield Plus, and I think you and I both agreed the Shield Plus trigger is
Oh yeah,
amazing. I
it
love my
is
Shield
amazing.
Plus.
It's better
I
than the
love
competitor.
yes, I love
Yep.
that Shield Plus trigger. That is one thing I do miss about that gun. Other than that, it's fine. I think once again I've talked about this before. I had so many issues with that gun, but
Right.
the one thing I didn't have issues. Love that trigger. I wish my Shadow Systems trigger was better, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. I would love like an ambi slide release, but that's okay. I
Right.
will deal with it. I have dealt
Oh,
with it.
there is one other upgrade
Ten
to the.
thousand plus rounds later.
Yeah, there is one upgrade to the metal HD competitor, or HD metal, whatever they're calling it. The witness, like, or the full, the loaded chamber indicator on the top of the barrel,
Yeah.
they changed the geometry on it so that it's like, I think it's tilted forward so it doesn't blow the gas onto your optic like
Oh,
the
that's
competitor does today.
nice.
And I'm constantly cleaning that thing off. That just irritates me. I'm like, it's such a bad design. So they
Hmm.
fixed it
I
apparently.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that actually would be enough to warrant potentially an upgrade. I could just buy a new
I mean,
barrel, I suppose, for a current pistol, but
is it heavier too?
it is heavier, and I'm not sure if
Yeah.
that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. I do like a heavy pistol,
Well,
but
for shooting, yeah, it's less recoil. So
yeah, and it just, I like the way it looks too. Looking good is half the battle here.
that is very true.
Yeah. How about you, Tyler? Anything you would add?
Like I said, I think right now I'm trying to. The two main things I'm thinking of is how I do medical and my dump pouch,
Yeah.
and of course my rifle setup. I mean, I'd love to eventually get like a 6x on top of it, play around with the height of my
Yeah.
optic.
SBR it maybe.
SB, get a
You can do it now
suppressor
for
in it.
zero bucks. So
Yeah, but
maybe.
still registering it, I'm good. Once
I know. Yeah.
repeal NFA, and then we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
and GCA and everything else, it'd be great.
The ATF already has records on you anyway. It doesn't matter.
I know they do. But hey, I mean, we'll see with the tariff dividend check, right? Is that still happening?
I don't know. Is that still happening?
I don't know.
If it
I
does,
list
it's gonna be right before election time.
Oh yeah. The funny thing is I actually was listening to a non-gun related YouTuber. He's a credit card guy. He's a finance guy rather, and he was talking about it how strategically if this happens, it is genius because like you just said, Phil, it's right before election time. So that means anyone who's up for re-election pretty much has to vote yes for it
Yeah.
because whether you're a Republican or Democrat, if you vote no to give America, Americans their money, all they're going to be like is, you voted to not give me money. I don't know if I want to vote for you. And the
Yeah.
best part is this is a dividend check, not a stimulus check, because people are going to say it's a stimulus check, it's going to mess up the economy. There's a difference. But I digress in that.
Yeah.
We don't
Well,
need
and
to
then
go
if
into the whole economic side of
yeah,
things.
I'll say if you do like vote for it, it's a win lose no matter what. Because they vote for it, then they voted for Trump's bill.
I
So
know, right?
well,
Exactly.
there's not much you can do. The only thing you do is like tie other things to this. Anyway, but we should not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, the funny thing is, like for me, I kind of joked to my fiance. It's like, in theory, it should be around summer. So I was like, hey, pay for the wedding slash the honeymoon bills, right?
Yeah,
It'd be
there you
great
go. Nice.
because we will both get it. So,
All right,
dang.
Tyler. What are your closing thoughts on minimalist versus geared out?
It's definitely a balance, man. Like I think it's really about whatever you want to prioritize, whether it's preparedness versus mobility that or speed. There's always going to be things that you're going to give up on, and that is perfectly fine. And that's where it's whatever you decide to prioritize and what you want to do. For me, my career is more leaning towards geared out, but I choose so because I want to keep my belt on the more quote unquote minimalist side. It's not like the full blown like USPSA where it's like literally holster and 4 or 5 mags and that's it. But I just want to make sure that I am kind of distributing things based off of my strengths. So this way I'm fine with everything on my shoulders and my chest. I have no issues with that. So it's really just finding what works for you, playing around with it, making upgrades, making those micro adjustments over time, because making little adjustments over time will eventually give out great dividends. So that's kind of my closing thoughts. What would you, Philip?
So I keep referencing the beginning of this episode, but I'm going to do it again because I mentioned at the beginning that I was going to kind of come to a conclusion that was different than minimalist or geared out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more of the intent based loadout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, because we talked about many things here Zombie, Wolverine 5K, Badger Tracker, USPSA. I'm a big fan of, especially if you have time, right?
Oh
Like in
yeah.
the SHTF scenario, where you have to grab something and go, that may be different. But like in the match intent or being intentional to the what the match is, right? And again, some people are like, oh, run what you got or run what you got. Don't try to mess with stuff. I'm like, well, I understand that. But you're also like in building yourself in a disadvantage right off the bat, right? So again, being intentional about the requirements for whatever match, in this case, you are running is my thought on it. So even from Badger, I have to have a stopwatch of some sort. I mean, I opt to actually run a physical stopwatch just because I know that under pressure, your dexterity goes down and trying to fiddle with a watch is just not going to be my thing. And I have a little sandwich pouch, they call it, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a Velcro pouch that attaches to my chest rig. I put that on for Badger, and I put my pen, pencil, and papers in there, and my stopwatch goes in that, and that is where I carry stuff with me. And then I also wear a Camelback for water, right? And then
Oh
my
yeah.
slot in different things in the front. Anyway, but that's totally different than what I would do for anything else. That comes right back off if I'm going to run a local 2-gun match. It comes right back off. I swap it in for additional mag, like pouches in front of there. So again, my point is just being intentional for what is the requirements of the match, and then what are those things that are requirements for yourself, right? I think that is winning the day right there. Personal
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
I agree with
So
that. So
with
what's your
that,
closing
Tyler,
advice?
dang it, I was so close.
You're super close, man.
I was so close.
Oh, you're so dang close. I was
I was
ready.
so close.
You're so close. What you got for
All
us,
right.
man? What's your dad advice?
So data device is something that we've talked about in the past, and I feel like it's good to continue to bring up. But doing things that maybe take you out of your comfort zone, but are also things that are interesting to you. So that's my spin on it, right? Is again, step out of your comfort zone, but do things that are interesting to you that may not necessarily like fall in line with things you've done in the past. I just, as of the recording of this podcast, I have had improv class number 2 tonight. And it has been one of those things I've done improv in the past. In my other life, I do a lot of stuff with Lego, and one of the conventions I go to does improv every year, and been involved with that. And some people from Second City, if you know anything about improv. And something popped up, local theater that's doing like improv for adults, and like I signed up and had a chance to meet some new people that I would probably never ever talk to normally, and do something that's completely normal with no friends that I know of that are there, new friends, I guess. And yeah, as a result, it's just one of those things that I think you get. Not improv's not for everyone. It definitely has a chance to improve their ability to think on your toes, which I think is one of the reasons why I'm interested in doing it. I work in sales, so having that requirement to think on your toes is pretty good. So again, step outside your comfort zone, but do something that's fun to you, that opens your horizons a bit.
That's
How
awesome.
about how about you, Tyler? What do you got?
Mine's the funny thing is usually when we do dad advice, Phil is like very much like on topic related, whereas mine's usually kind of like just somewhere out there, super random. And so mine tonight is actually going to be more related to the
Ooh, we're
topic,
flip
which
flopped.
is
Yeah.
what's up?
We're flip flopped.
I know, which is
Yeah.
great. It is definitely the arrow and not the Indian. Oh, wait.
The other way around.
I know, I'm kidding. It's the
No.
arrow. Wow, actually, no, I just messed it up. That's a it is the Indian,
Huh.
not the arrow.
Sometimes it is the hero. Like, so you're not
I know some
wrong.
there are times it's definitely the arrow, like a high
Yeah.
point. But no, it's true. Like, don't outsource responsibility to equipment.
Yeah.
Ultimately, of course, we talk about like minimalist versus geared out, but ultimately, if you're not accurate, if you're not training, if you're not practicing with your gear, it doesn't matter. Gear is there to support you, but it can't save you from your poor decisions, your bad habits, or lack of prep. If something fails, it's typically not the gear, it's your plan, your reps, or your mindset. So make sure you're actually training with your stuff because
Hmm.
ultimately you're not going to rise to the occasion. You're just going to fall to the level of your highest training. That's all it's going to be. So just make sure you're actually going out and
Yeah.
training and doing stuff. Go on a treadmill, work out, get some sleep, drink water,
Yeah.
get sunlight, eat healthy, cut out sugar, cut
Yeah.
out red dye 40.
Yes.
It's funny. It was very fascinating to me. I did um, watch a video about a study where they did food dyes with children. Half of them they knew about, it, and of course, placebo. The kids with the dyes did actually act up, and then they switched it, and the kids. So every single time, the kids with the red dye were the ones who were acting up. So it was
Hmm.
very fascinating. It's like, oh, I want. I, don't, I the thing is, that was a very quick video that I saw. I don't know how accurate it was. I don't know if they're telling the truth or not. I am very fascinated and interested to look more into that. So, either way, food for thought. So, all that's it.
Well,
Thank you so much. What's up?
well, it was to make a comment. Sorry, real quick on the training
No, go for it.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a enlightenment the other day, really quick here. So we moved, right,
Yep.
and I have woods that are in the back of my house now, and I own a small chunk of the woods. We had some people over, some friends over, and I put up a bunch of my steel targets in the back. We didn't really get a chance to shoot them too much
The
with like air
weather is
rifle,
so bad, dude.
yeah, exactly, with air rifle or airsoft. Well, I left them up, and I have been shooting at them. Like if I'm at work, and it's like it was a long meeting or something frustrating came up. So I just good to get up, walk around anyway. But I'll actually go to the back, open up the sliding door, and then shoot offhand
That's
with
awesome.
the air rifle that I have. And I've noticed that my offhand shooting has gotten a lot better. And then it
I believe
dawned
it.
on me during that time. I was like, oh, I unintentionally am working on my offhand shooting
Hmm.
by doing this. So like, that's kind of cool. And then I started thinking about, oh, how can I also do pistol shooting on it? So I'm actually start doing some airsoft pistol shooting once weather gets nicer with it. So
I love that. Good for you.
anyway, if you can't, make it fun. That's my problem is I don't like dry fire, but I love this. So it's a lot cheaper than shooting actual bullets because
Yeah, no kidding.
they're just little pellets from the air rifle. So
I feel like it's fun too because like you actually get if you're shooting at scale, you get the auditory
Yes.
response as well.
Yep.
Versus like for me, I have a Mantis Blackbeard. It's awesome. I love it. I get a
Mhm.
laser, but yeah, I get a laser. So I get at least
Right.
that little what the what's the word I'm looking for? That response, I guess. The where in the sense of like I'm seeing that I'm hitting on target, but like
Right.
actually getting sound off of steel just gives some other type of positive response that's just awesome.
It's true. Other advantages too is that it's cold out and I can shoot
Mhm.
inside my house because there's no casing that's
That
kicking
is
out.
nice. Yeah, no kidding.
And it's an air rifle, so technically it's not a firearm. As such, it is integrally suppressed, so I can literally shoot it from my like kitchen to the backyard, and I put a few poppers out there as well too that make smaller
Nice.
targets. And my son has been shooting with me as well, so which has been fun. And my daughter actually started doing it too.
Oh, really?
And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so we actually moved the targets, made them harder to shoot, the smaller ones anyway. So just to make it more challenging because it was like
Nice.
getting a little too easy. But I think actually we're due to move them back out. But we're about 45 yards, so
Nice.
yeah, we try to get them out to 50 or 60 here in a little bit. So anyway, want to close this out, sir?
Sure. All right. Thank you again. Thank you again, everyone, for listening to another exciting episode of Acceptable Accuracy. We do have some awesome things lined up. We have a special guest that we're trying to get on the show as well. So hopefully that all works out. And thank you again, everyone, for listening. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, email us at podcast@acceptableaccuracy.com, and we will see you next time.
Bye bye. See you on the flippity flip.